Hi, my name is Cierra. I'm Courtney's mom. I'm going to be discussing a family dish that we have eaten from my father's mother. I knew my grandmother until I was about 6 years old because she lived with us. The dish is called mycin. My cousin calls it mycian. I've actually never found that term anywhere else on the internet, but it's essentially a dumpling stuffed with meat. So it's like a wonton. The closest thing you can think of is like a wonton. My dad remembers growing up eating it in the suburbs of Chicago. So initially he grew up in downtown Chicago till he was about 7. He was really glad to move to the suburbs of Carroll Stream, which is where he met my mother. They've known each other since they were 6 years old. So 7 years old, somewhere around there. And the food my grandmother would make was often Hungarian, like Hungarian goulash, and sometimes he'd say Russian, sometimes he'd say Estonia, so just all in that kind of area. So mycin is basically just a flour and water and egg dough that you roll out, and then you fill it with ground beef and chopped up onions and seasonings. It's super simple. When I was growing up, we had a little machine. It was plastic. It was round, and it had a cut in the center, so you could fold it over, and it had little kind of teeth. So when you closed it, it made a closed little like dumpling. So we use that sometimes, but most of the time I just remember my grandma, who lived with us till I was about 6. My dad's mom, she lived with us. She would make it. She'd just roll it out by hand. She'd put the meat in the middle. She'd fold it over, and then she'd just crimp it with a fork, and you throw it in boiling water. And then when it floats to the top, you then put it in a pan with butter, because butter makes everything better. And they just fry them up, and then we would eat them with sour cream. And that's what we liked to eat. And I don't really make them. I've made them maybe 3 times that I've been an adult, because it's pretty labor intensive. And for me personally, I just make the cheap version of it. We just make dumplings. So it's the same recipe, but instead of filling it with meat, you just roll it into a dough ball, throw it in boiling water, and then throw it in the butter, and you just eat a fried piece of dough, like a noodle. So that's what I remember.